The bell above the diner door chimed softly, but inside everything was still. A worn-out man shuffled to the counter, his eyes tired and hopeful. She didn't have to ask if he could pay. His shoes said it all. Yet, with a gentle smile, the waitress simply said, "It's on the house today." What happened next would change both their lives forever. Introduction and setup. It was a chilly autumn evening in a small, sleepy town, where the streets wore a thin mist like a faded veil. The diner's neon sign flickered faintly, casting a soft glow on the cracked pavement outside. Inside, the air was thick with the aroma of fresh coffee, frying bacon, and worn leather, the smells that wrapped around you like an old, familiar blanket. The waitress, Clara, moved through the diner with a grace that belied her weariness. Her face told stories of long hours and quiet struggles, the faint lines etched around her eyes, the tired slump of her shoulders, the way she touched. Her necklace absent-mindedly, a silver locket tarnished with age. Clara wasn't just a waitress. She was the heartbeat of this place. The diner's walls had witnessed countless lives, joy, heartbreak, forgotten dreams. But Clara held a secret sorrow. 5 years ago, she had lost her younger brother to a sudden illness, a tragedy that left her feeling as if time itself had stopped. Her own heart wound tightly like the broken watch she kept on the counter as a reminder. Tonight, the diner felt heavier. Outside, the cold rain began to tap against the windows, a slow, steady rhythm that echoed Clara's quiet despair. The only other customers were the usual late-night regulars, lonely souls seeking comfort in the clatter of plates and murmured conversations. Conflict or challenge introduced. Just as Clara wiped down a table near the window, the door creaked open, and in came a man she hadn't seen before. He was thin, with a face carved by hardship and eyes that held a flicker of something like hope, despite everything. His clothes hung loosely, threadbare and damp from the rain. He sat down at the corner booth and quietly called Clara over. "Don't have much," he said softly, "but I could use something warm." Clara glanced at him, noting the cracked shoes and stained coat. He looked like he had been walking for days. Without hesitation, she smiled warmly and replied, "Don't worry about it, you're my guest tonight." The man's eyes widened in disbelief. "I couldn't possibly," he began, but Clara shook her head gently. "Please. Everyone deserves kindness." She brought him a bowl of steaming soup and a plate of fresh bread, placing them carefully in front of him. As he ate, Clara found herself drawn into a quiet connection with this stranger. They didn't speak much, but in the silence, a profound understanding passed between them, one born from shared pain and unspoken dreams, rise of tension and building emotion. The rain outside intensified, drumming against the diner's roof like a relentless heartbeat. The man's hands trembled slightly as he ate. Clara watched him, her heart aching at the sight of such vulnerability. "Why are you here?" she finally asked, her voice soft. He looked up, hesitated, then said, "I lost my job. My family. They don't want me anymore. I have nowhere to go." Clara's throat tightened. The story was painfully familiar. The loss, the loneliness, the invisible walls life builds around us when we fall too far. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "when life breaks us down, we find strength in the smallest moments, like a warm meal or a kind word." The man nodded, eyes glistening. "I forgot what that felt like." They sat together in silence, two broken souls sharing a fragile moment of peace. Midpoint revelation, 2D, twist. The next morning, Clara arrived at the diner earlier than usual, weary but hopeful that the man might return. She prepared coffee and biscuits, the diner slowly waking with the gentle hum of morning light filtering through the windows. Suddenly, the bell above the door jingled, and the man stepped inside again. But this time he wasn't alone. Behind him was a group of people, some wearing suits, others holding cameras and microphones. They moved with purpose and warmth, smiles lighting their faces. Clara's heart raced. She watched in stunned silence as the man approached her table. "Clara," he said, voice steady and filled with gratitude, "I want you to meet some friends." He explained that he was not just a poor man struggling to survive. He was a former business owner who had fallen on hard times after a fire destroyed his company and family estranged him. But more importantly, he had been secretly trying to rebuild. And last night, Clara's kindness reignited something in him, moved beyond words. He had used his contacts to help Clara's diner, organizing a fundraiser and connecting her with investors who believed in her spirit. The cameras rolled as they announced a new beginning for Clara's diner, one that would save her from financial ruin and transform the diner into a community hub for those in need. Climax, emotional breakthrough. Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she struggled to find words. "You didn't have to do all this," she whispered. "I just wanted to help." The man shook his head gently. "No, you reminded me that even in the darkest times, kindness lights the way." As the crowd applauded, Clara felt the weight that had crushed her spirit begin to lift. The broken watch on the counter caught the sunlight sparkling as if time was finally moving again. Her voice trembled. "You're not broken, you're becoming." In that moment, Clara realized she wasn't alone. The kindness she had given was returning, multiplied in ways she never imagined. Resolution and quiet closure. Days later, the diner buzzed with life. The rain had cleared, replaced by bright sunshine that warmed the worn wooden floors. The once fading neon sign now glowed steadily, a beacon of hope in the small town. Clara watched the new faces come in, young, old, lost, and found, and felt a quiet peace settle within her. Her hands, once trembling with fatigue and sorrow, now moved with renewed purpose. The silver locket around her neck caught the morning light, a symbol of the love that never truly dies. As the sun rose higher, Clara stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. The sky stretched endlessly, a canvas of endless possibility. A little girl ran past, laughing, her joyful voice a melody that filled the air. Clara smiled softly, whispering to herself, "Kindness changes everything."